Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to carry out a replacement of the front brakes. So this bike has radial calipers in here. These are the Takiko 4-pot ones. What we've got to replace them is some nice Brembo Monoblock ones. Now these are the brakes that fit to the 2017, I think it's the 2012 to 2017 GSX-R 750. These ones came off a 2017 model, but I think I've got the right range of models. They're probably a fraction of the weight of these items, and these are renowned for being really good brakes. As you can see, the previous owner of these has had the use out of these brake pads. You could just about make out the remnants of the wear lines. So yeah, they're toast. He's had his money's worth out of them. So yeah, we've got the calipers. Got a nice shiny Brembo Master Cylinder. It's a nice trick bit of kit. So we're going to be replacing the Master Cylinder as well, and a couple of braided brake blinds with stainless steel fittings. And then obviously we've got the brand new brake pads. So first thing first is to strip off all the old stuff. I think we'll start with the original lever and Master Cylinder. We'll start with that first, drain the fluid out of the lines, and then look at getting these calipers off. So thanks for joining us. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to bleed. We're not going to bleed. We're going to drain the brake fluid out of the line so that we don't get it everywhere. Just going to use a streamlined strawberry jam. Yummy. Right, so crack the lines. As you can see, start to drip already. Let's make sure we catch as much as we can, because it's not very good for paint. Try not to get it on the wheels. And if I give the lever a little bit of a squeeze, we'll force the majority out of the line, as you can hear. Okay, what I'll do, get some paper towel. Put it down the side of the tyre. That off. Just let that drip into the jar like that. And we'll do the same on the other side. Okay, so while that's draining, what we'll do is we'll start to remove factory one. Okay. Now what we need to do is remove the nut that holds the reservoir in place, and there's a little bit of wire and it goes to the switch for the brake light. Other than that, down here you can see there's like a little block that's mounted to a little bracket, and that basically splits out to each of the calipers. So we just have to crack that bolt off, and then we should be able to take the whole lot out in one go. As you can see, what I've done, I've put a little bit of paper towel down here just in case we spill a little bit of brake fluid, and that way it won't go onto the paintwork. Okay, that's the reservoir out the way. I think we've got a new bracket for the new one, so we'll probably need to be removing that bracket shortly, but I'll do that in a moment. Next thing I need to do is just disconnect the plug for the brake light switch, just like that. Okay, and now what I'll do, I'll just take the bolt out of that bracket, as I said a second ago, and then we should be able to pull all of this out along with both the lines that go down to each of the brake calipers as one unit. And there we are, that's the whole lot out. What we're going to do is we're going to see if we can retain the ASV brake lever, because obviously that's a nice bit of kit. I'm not sure if that will be compatible with the Brembo Master Cylinder, but we can have a look. Nice little scuff there. We'll have a look and see what we can do. But yeah, that's the first step complete. Now, as you can see here, we've got one line that comes down from the Master Cylinder to this basically what is like a splitter valve, and then sends the fluid down to each caliper. But what we've got for the replacement is two lines that go straight from the master cylinder down to each of the calipers, so we'll junk that, we won't need that at all. Okay, what we're going to do next is we're going to remove each of the calipers, two 12mm bolts, crack them off. Got to be honest, they felt a lot tighter than they should have been. Yeah, they were pretty tight. And there we are. That's the calipers out. Now, obviously, one of the major differences between these is, whilst these are cast in one piece, these have a split down the middle. It's just one of the manufacturing processes, but these weigh, I can feel that, I mean obviously there's no pads in there, but I can feel the difference in weight. These literally weigh half of what these do. In fact, the difference in weight is absolutely astronomical. So yeah, these reduce the unsprung weight quite considerably, but the stopping power should be quite significant. Even the pads are greater in size. So what I'll do next is fit the new pads to the caliper, and then offer the caliper up to the fork leg. Okay, the only other thing I had to do was remove these little bushes from inside the bottoms of the fork legs, because whilst they do fit the original calipers just like that, the new ones don't have the facility for that. So take them out, keep them to one side. What we're going to do next is fit the pads into the new caliper. So this is the one for this side. Let's get the pads out of the packaging. These are for road racing and track days. So the guy who owns the bike opted for these ones over the street option. Okay, all we have to do, that's a little spring there, it just applies pressure to the pad to keep it in its position, and then all you do, get one end in, apply a little bit of pressure, and then push the other end in, just like that. Same with the other one. Really is that easy. Next, what we'll do is we will offer it up to the bike like so. Get a bolt in. What I'll do, I'm just going to get everything up to touch, and then once everything's installed correctly, then I'll go around and torque everything up at the end. Okay, I'm pretty sure you'll agree they look quite trick. Okay, what we'll do first is get the master cylinder and the lever assembly in the right place. Get that the right way up, like that. Okay, right, now looking at this lever, it looks highly unlikely that the ASV lever can be used, because it's a completely different mounting design. So obviously he's going to have to use this one, but it's a nice bit of kit anyway, so it's not really too much of a problem. And there, that's nice. Okay, next let's fit the lines. Okay, next thing we're going to do is fit the braided lines. Now one of them is ever so slightly longer than the other, so obviously the longer one needs to go to this side of the bike, because obviously the master cylinder is on that side, so the shorter one should be on that side. So we'll stick that one over there, and then we'll look at this side first. Okay, what we need to do is use some copper washers. I've got 3 for the master cylinder banjo, and then 2 each for the caliper banjos. As I said, these were annealed earlier on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is feed the line up towards the master cylinder, and then this end with a copper washer, fit the banjo just like that. Another copper washer, and then get the banjo in and get it started. Okay, loosely fit it like so. Nice Hell Performance brake line. And then the same on the other side. Again, I'm only going to loosely fit it. Again, fit the copper washers. Should be 3 on this one. Okay, so let's get the banjos tightened. Okay, that's nice and tight. And again, that's nice and tight. And what I'll do, I shall put a tie wrap around both lines to keep them neat. Under there. Next, just tighten the banjo from the master cylinder. Be nice and tight enough. Don't want to over tighten them because they're only going into aluminium. Okay. Right, next thing we're going to do is add some fluid and start to bleed them through. Okay, before we add any fluid, first thing I'm going to do plenty of this down, that way if I do drip any, it's not going all over the place. Then I can whip the cap off. There's a little the little rubber membrane inside. Okay, the easiest way to add brake fluid to the master cylinder is to use a little jug like this instead of trying to pour it out of the bottle it comes in. So I'm just going to top it up. Okay, what we're going to use to bleed the brakes is a pressure bleeder. What we need to do first is draw the fluid through down to the down into the master cylinder, because at the minute it's all just sat in the reservoir and this bit is full of air. So we're going to bleed it here first. What we'll do, connect it up, open the bleed valve, and nearly Okay, you see the fluid coming through, loads of air. What I want to do next, just top up the reservoir a little bit. Okay, so we've got fluid down to the master cylinder now. So what we need to do next is bleed all the air out of each of the lines. So for this, it's much the same sort of scenario. Crack the bleed nipple, and then watch the fluid coming through. All the while keeping an eye on the reservoir, making sure it doesn't run dry. Unfortunately, you have to put up with the sound of the compressor when you do this. Okay, so that's them all bled up. What I've also done is I've torqued the bolts on the calipers 34 Newton meters, which is what the book says the factory torque is for these. Obviously they're not factory calipers, but I'll do them to the same torque anyway. I gave it another little bleed at the top just to ensure that there's no air at the top of the system. But you know, fraction of a pull on the lever. And the brakes are engaged. Absolutely stunning lever response there. I'd call that a job. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to top up the reservoir a little touch, but I'm very, very happy with that. Happy days. Don't forget to give me a like and subscribe, and thanks for stopping by. Cheers everybody, bye.
Bye.